Hey guys, welcome back to another sports stuff video. Today, we're going to be talking about the NFL draft. I'm doing one final big mock draft for the 2024 NFL season. So if you guys do enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when I post next. Let's get into this mock draft. Again, I'm so excited. Tomorrow is officially the NFL draft. So if you guys do want to come watch the draft with me and my brother, round 1 will be tomorrow. Round 2 and 3 will be Thursday. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. we'll be streaming from 6 until the very last pick of the first round. I can't wait. I'm very excited. At 6 p.m., come to the Sports Stuff YouTube channel. Come vibe with us while we watch the NFL draft and react to it live. But let's get into the final mock draft of this season. So, obviously, at pick number 1, it's kind of set in stone what's going to be happening. So let's just do it. It's going to be Caleb Williams. There is no doubt in my mind Caleb Williams is going number 1. And number 2, I still think is Drake Maye as well. I have a feeling these two picks are set in stone. There's no way either team trades out. There's no way either team does not take these two guys. I think Caleb Williams fits that Russell Wilson type of quarterback mold that Shane Waldron saw a lot of success with in Seattle. And then we saw him even have success with Geno Smith. I think Caleb Williams is better than both Geno Smith and currently better than Russell Wilson. And we saw what Russell was able to do in his last year in Seattle. Then Drake Maye going to the Washington Commanders. I think getting another quarterback makes too much sense. They traded Sam Howell. They let Jacoby Brissett walk. They have not signed a competent starter. I think Drake Maye, day 1 starts for the Washington Commanders. And I wouldn't be shocked if he plays his entire career with the Commanders. I think he's a really good quarterback prospect. I like his arm ability. The only thing I don't really like is his decision making. I think he holds on to the ball a little bit too long sometimes. I think he doesn't look off his receivers as much as I want him to. But Drake Maye is still obviously the number 2 quarterback in this class. At number 3, though, is where I think there could be some change, right? So there's all these rumors. I'm still a proponent that J.J. McCarthy goes to the New England Patriots, whether it's at 3, whether it's later in the draft somehow. I still think J.J. McCarthy ends up on the Patriots, and if I'm going like that, right? If I'm the New England Patriots and I believe that I can get J.J. McCarthy, I want to get him a wide receiver 1. I'm grabbing Marvin Harrison Jr. I know I'm crazy. I understand. Every time I do a mock draft that makes sense, I'm always way off. So I'm doing a mock draft what I think they could do. I think the New England Patriots know everything that's going on with J.J. McCarthy is smoke and mirrors, trying to get teams to trade up for him. But I think everyone in the NFL has a very, very through line of we know what JJ's worth. We're not going to overdraft him. While I think J.J. McCarthy is a very good quarterback, is he a top 3 pick? No. He has his limitations, but I still love J.J. McCarthy. So if I'm the Patriots, I'm saying, you know what? I want J.J. McCarthy. I do. I want JJ. But I'm going to get him Marvin Harrison Jr., the best wide receiver probably in the last 5-10 years. So we grab Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver 1 for the future. The Arizona Cardinals then pivot. They say, crap, we were hoping they'd go quarterback and we'd go Marvin Harrison Jr. But let's go grab Malik Neighbors. The Cardinals need a wide receiver 1. They traded everyone. They let everyone walk. Their wide receiver 1 currently is Michael Wilson. And while I like Michael Wilson, he's not a wide receiver 1. Malik Neighbors is a true game-changing wide receiver 1. I think his last 5 or 6 weeks in the college football season, he had over 120 yards every game. He's a true game-breaking wide receiver. I do not see him slipping past the Cardinals if this is a situation that happens. Then, at number 5, is going to be the first trade. I think this is where the Minnesota Vikings make their move to move up. So here's what I think it's going to take. I think 5 and 105, so a first and a 4th round draft pick, go in for 11, 23, a 4th round, and a future 3rd. I'm going to force this trade because I think this is what's going to take, right? You have to move up 6 spots. You have to give up both 1st round picks. That's the reason you traded for number 23. You're giving up these 1st round picks. You then get to move up 14 draft picks in the 4th round and make a fringe 3rd round pick and to give up a future 3rd. This is to get your franchise quarterback in Jayden Daniels. Why can I not draft him? Boom. They grab Jayden Daniels. The reason I think Jayden Daniels makes the most sense for the Minnesota Vikings is I think Kevin O'Connell wants a gunslinger who can also run the ball a little bit. We saw that success with other guys in the NFL, that have that gunslinger, but they also have the ability to run the ball. Anthony Richardson last year is a great example of a guy who can throw the ball but can also, run really good. Lamar Jackson, obviously, Jalen Hurts, all these guys have really good arms and can also run the ball like hell. I think Jayden Daniels is the next guy in that mold. And the Vikings, they can also grab an LSU guy, maybe try and keep Justin Jefferson to stay in-house. Once they see, once they show him, hey, we just traded up from number 11 to number 5, grab the franchise quarterback, sign your extension now. I think that's exactly what they would want to do. Trade up, guarantee Justin Jefferson's there for the next 5 to 6 years of his career. Then the New York Giants at number 6. I don't know why I just breathed in really heavily right there. I'm going to go Rome Odunze. Now, there are a couple other positions of need on the Giants, but day one, if you're still starting Darius Slayton at wide receiver 1 in 2024, he's been wide receiver 1 for like 4 or 5 years at this point. It's not working out. Just grab Rome Odunze, have Jalen Hyatt, have Darius Slayton maybe as a wide receiver 3, have a bunch of competent guys like Wan'Dale Robinson as well. Just let guys develop, but Rome Odunze is a true wide receiver 1. In a lot of draft classes, he would be wide receiver 1. Really good deep threat. This past season at 1,600 yards and 13 touchdowns. He's improved every year of his career. He's a great deep ball guy. I think Rome Odunze makes too much sense for the New York Giants and what they're trying to do in New York. The Titans, I'm going to go grab Joe Alt from Notre Dame. I think they need that game-breaking left tackle. I think Joe Alt is a great run blocker and a great pass blocker. Still not my tackle number 1. I think I still have Olu Fashanu above him. But Joe Alt definitely deserved of that number 7 overall pick. And I think what the Tennessee Titans want to do for the future, we see that Brian Callahan, what he did with Jake Browning and Joe Burrow as OC in Cincinnati. I think he definitely wants to throw the ball more than he runs it. And Joe Alt, I think, is one of the best pass blockers, but he also is a really good run blocker on top of that. I think it makes too much sense for their type of scheme. Then the Atlanta Falcons, I am going to go defense. The very first defensive draft pick, I'm still going Dallas Turner. I think Dallas Turner makes too much sense. He's everyone that I respect in the draft world believes Dallas Turner will be the first edge rusher, first defender off the board in the draft. And I believe that too. You know, he's a really good pass rusher. Gets to the quarterback effectively, can use both bull rush moves and with his speed make game-breaking moves as well. Dallas Turner, the Falcons, I also agree with. I think that's going to end up happening to the Atlanta Falcons. Then, the Bears. This could be where I think another trade could happen. So, I just said that the New England Patriots, I think, go get JJ McCarthy. The Bears have also been saying they are willing to move off number 9 for a good draft haul. I think that is what exactly the Patriots do. I think they're going to give up 34, 103, 180, 193, a first and a fourth next year. The reason it's going to cost so much is because not only are you trading up from 34 to 9, but the Bears also want as much draft capital as possible. As you can see, they only have 4 draft picks this year. I think they're going to say, hey, give us a second round pick this year, your first next year, and a backload like 5th, 6th round draft picks. That's exactly what they do. 180 and 193 is a 5th and a 6th round draft pick. I think that's exactly what the Bears would say. Hey, you know, fill us with a bunch of late round draft picks. Give us, you know, 2 good picks. You know, a 4th round draft pick, 2 4th round draft picks, a 5th, a 6th, a 2nd, and a 1st, and move up from 34 to 9 and grab your quarterback. Why does it say it's like there? So yeah, we move up from 34 to 9. The Bears get 4 more draft picks this season. And I think this is where they grab JJ McCarthy. JJ makes so much more sense for the New England Patriots system than Jaden Daniels. My comp for JJ McCarthy is Joe Flacco. I think he's if you have a system where he plays off the run and it creates open seams to where JJ can just throw the ball because it's an open receiver because they're relying so much on the run game, he can win you a Super Bowl. I think that's exactly what he can do. He can win you a Super Bowl. He won you a national championship. Yes, the run game was the number 1 part of that national championship team, but Joe Flacco was never the reason they won the Super Bowl. He was a big reason, and JJ McCarthy was a big reason they won the national championship. Just watch the Ohio State game where he threw amazing balls all over the field against Ohio State. I think JJ McCarthy is the exact guy to fit an Alex Van Pelt system, and I think he's a succeed in New England. I can't wait to see JJ McCarthy. I truly believe that that's where he's going to go. I don't see the Patriots drafting Jaden Daniels over JJ. And with what I did, the Patriots now have Marvin Harrison Jr. and JJ McCarthy. That is an A+ first round draft, if you had to ask me. Next up, we have New York Jets. I am going to go Olu Fashanu right here. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Jets as well. You know, they have Aaron Rodgers. Again, want to be at more of a gunslinger type of offense while Aaron Rodgers is still there. Olu Fashanu is probably the best pass blocker in this class when it comes to tackle. And he's still a pretty good run blocker, but I think pass blocking, he is head and shoulders above everyone. And Aaron Rodgers wants to throw that ball, right? And I think, with his frame, with his build, I think Olu Fashanu is going to be the best tackle in this class in a couple of years. And I don't know. I think he's number 1 tackle, but I think because of what the Titans want to run, Joe Alt was a better fit for them. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Chargers. So obviously they trade back from number 5 to number 11. They get 2 first-round picks this year. I think the first one they're going to spend on is Brock Bowers. The reason I think Brock Bowers is because, yes, they did trade all their wide receivers, but if you look at the wide receivers right now, who do you realistically think is a fringe top 10 wide receiver in this class right now? Adonai Mitchell, Brian Thomas, Troy Franklin, Keon Coleman, Xavier Worthy. Like, those are guys I think that could go in the first round. I don't think any of them are number 11, though, right? I think other positions of value are going to go number 11. So Brock Bowers, let's grab a game-changing tight end prospect. Really good pass blocker, really good run blocker. We know that the Chargers are probably going to run the ball more than they did last year with new head coach John Harbaugh. Is it Jim Harbaugh? I think it's Jim Harbaugh. Sorry, I always think the Harbaughs swapped around. Jim Harbaugh just won a national championship running the ball. I think he's going to want to run the ball in Los Angeles. That's why he signed so many running backs in free agency. And I think they're going to grab Brock Bowers, not only to be one of the best receiving threats on the team with Quentin Johnston, but also be a really good run blocking option as well. So, then at number 12, the Denver Broncos. There are a couple of ways I think they could go with this pick. Cornerback could go, but I think they're going to go edge rusher. Oh, not linebacker. I think they are going to go edge rusher. And I wouldn't be shocked if Jared Verse is their pick. I think that is exactly who Sean Payton really likes. A powerful bull rusher who just gets after the quarterback, right? Just gets after the quarterback. He could have been a top 10 draft pick last year. Went back to FSU to try and win a national championship. I think that's the type of dude that they're going to really like. Is instead of, hey, I'm not going to worry about myself. I want the team to win a national championship. I could have gone top 10 last year. I'm going to come back. Didn't have as great of a year. Had a really good year. Not as great of a year in his 4th year. But comes back to school. Almost gets to the playoffs. I think that shows a lot when it comes to team effort and how much he wants to support his team. That's the type of dude I want, if I'm being honest with you. That's the type of dude that I would want. Next, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. And the Raiders, I think they do go cornerback. I think Kool-Aid McKinstry is going to be my number 1 cornerback off the board. Not only because I think Kool-Aid is the best corner in this class, but also because I think he fits what the Raiders want to do. They want hard-nosed defenders who can be both a great man coverage guy and a really good zone coverage guy. But in man coverage, they want you constantly battling the receiver down the field. They want to punch you in the mouth. I think Kool-Aid is exactly what they want. If you watch any of his game film, he's constantly putting his hands on the receivers, constantly being an annoyance, not letting them get easy yards. I think that's exactly what the Raiders would want in Kool-Aid McKinstry and in a cornerback in this class. I think he embodies what they want to do in Las Vegas. Then the New Orleans Saints. It's going to be a little controversial. I'm going to go Talisi Fuaga. I'm going Fuaga because they're saying that Ryan Ramczyk, their right tackle of the last 8-9 years, might be done, right? Apparently he has a crippling knee injury that they just have not been able to heal. They cannot fix it. And it might be a medical retiring type of issue. If that is the issue, Talisi Fuaga is the best run blocking tackle in the class. And he's still a really good pass blocker as well. We can click him right here. As you can see, 91 run blocking grade. He let up no pressure on running backs when he was the main second level run blocker. Could use some more help on the pass blocking scheme. But I still think when it comes to run blocking, Talisi Fuaga is head and shoulders the best run blocker day one. I think he still has a lot of talent to show as a pass blocker as well, as a true mountain of a man. Isn't he 6'8" or is he 6'7"? He's 6'6", but he's 6'6", 334, and he plays a lot bigger than 6'6". I think Talisi Fuaga makes a lot of sense for what the Saints want to do. They have Derek Carr, yes, but I think when it comes to run blocking, they want to get better at that. Alvin Kamara has not been the same the last year or two. I think it's because mainly because the offensive line is taking taking a step back. I think Talisi Fuaga can, propel that run game a little bit further than it was before. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts. I'm gonna go back to corner. I think there's gonna be a little bit of a run on corner coming up here. I think Terrion Arnold is a Indianapolis Colt, right? When I say Terrion Arnold, I think of him in a Colts jersey, right? Amazing zone defender, still a real good man coverage guy as well. But when it comes to a pure zone corner ability, he is absolutely one of the best zone corners in this class. Him, Nate Wiggins, probably Quinion Mitchell, number 3. But him and Nate Wiggins, I think, are number 1 and number 2, however you want to put them. But I think Terrion Arnold, one, Nate Wiggins is hurt. He hurt himself at the combine. But 2, I think Terrion Arnold with his frame, 6 foot, 196, so 6 foot, 200 pounds. He's excelled the last 2 seasons, gotten better every year. Coming from a premier team in Alabama, I think Terrion Arnold makes a lot of sense to be the #1 corner in Indianapolis. Plus, you gotta worry about. I mean, they had to let Isaiah Rodgers go because of suspensions. I think Terrion Arnold immediately comes in and starts outside corner #1. Then we have the Seattle Seahawks. There's a lot they can do. I think edge rusher makes a lot of sense. I think safety makes a lot of sense. Obviously, both of Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams both got let go from the Seahawks. I'm gonna do something that is gonna shock a couple of people. I'm gonna go Peyton Wilson. I go Peyton Wilson because of who their head coach is now. Mike McDaniel loves defense, and we saw it in Baltimore what he can do with young, agile, athletic linebackers. That's exactly what Peyton Wilson is. We saw with Patrick Queen what he was able to turn him into. We saw with Roquan Smith what he was able to do with him. I think Peyton Wilson can be the Patrick Queen of this defense, right? Yeah, Bobby Wagner still, who I think can be that Roquan Smith type of role, constantly tackling guys, and you make Peyton Wilson the chess piece moving around the defense, right? They let Jordan Brooks walk in free agency, which I thought was a little interesting. If they didn't let Jordan Brooks walk, I wouldn't have gone linebacker here. But knowing that they lost that young, twitchy, athletic linebacker, I think Peyton Wilson can replace that role immediately, and I think he can be better than Patrick Queen day one. I still think Peyton Wilson is my linebacker one. Edgerrin Cooper is very close. But for what this defense wants to do, they need that young, rangy, athletic linebacker who can get TFLs, who can get tackles, a yard or two behind the line of scrimmage, because that's what Patrick Queen was doing. He was top 5 in the league when it comes to yards of depth, tackle yards of depth. How many yards of depth does the running back have before he gets tackled by the player? He was top 5 in the league. I think Peyton Wilson can be the exact type of thing when it comes to run defense. And he's a really good pass defender. I think Peyton Wilson's a really good pass defender as well. Next up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think this is Quinion Mitchell. I think this is where the Jaguars would love to go. He's been dominant the last 2 years, obviously. One of the best man coverage guys in this class. Could use some help when it comes to zone coverage. But I think man coverage, the Jacksonville Jaguars love to run. We saw it with Darius Williams last year, how much they love running man coverage. You got Tyson Campbell still as, I believe, your nickel corner. I believe he is. He might have been moved to outside corner already. But Tyson Campbell's been elite since drafting him. Quinion Mitchell, pairing him up with Tyson Campbell, have a really good corner duo for the next 4, 5, 6 years. I think that's exactly what you could do with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Secondary's been their issue for a few years. And I think that Quinion Mitchell can help solve that issue. Next, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they're going to go tackle. I think it's going to be Amarius Mims. I've been doing this the entire draft process. Amarius Mims to the Bengals. It makes a lot of sense. Amarius Mims, when healthy, is probably better than Talisi Fuaga, but health is the issue. If the Bengals can get him to stay healthy, he is an amazing pass blocker, an amazing run blocker. He's got to stay healthy. That's all it is. The Bengals, maybe he slips out of the first round because of health, but when he is healthy, he's the 3rd best tackle in this class. He's 6'6", 6'7", 6'7", 340, true mountain of the man. Him and Broderick Jones, when they were both playing together, man, that Georgia offensive line was good when they were playing together. I think Amarius Mims has the higher potential of Broderick Jones. It's just the health is the issue. Next, we have the LA Rams. I think I'm going to go tackle. I think I'm going to go tackle with J.C. Latham. So currently, the interior of the Rams offensive line is amazing, right? It's just straight up amazing. They've done a really good job drafting. Steve Avila, the trade for Kenyon Green from the Steelers. That worked out amazingly. The issue is their tackles, right? They have Rob Havenstein. They have what's his name? Rams depth charts. Well, RLads. Let me just do RLads. LAR. They have Rob Havenstein and Alaric Johnson. Yeah, but I'm thinking of Joe Noteboom. Rob Havenstein is getting older. I think it's time to start preparing for the future without Rob Havenstein. I'm going to grab J.C. Latham, be the future at right tackle, maybe even move to left tackle if needed. But, I mean, you don't find this kind of tackle prospect almost in the 20s. You don't find that, right? I think this is where the run of offensive linemen can go as well. Because in every draft class, there's usually a run from, there's 3 different runs, right? Let's say it's a quarterback-heavy class. The first couple of picks is going to be quarterback. There's going to be usually a tackle run and usually a cornerback run. So as you can see, within 6 picks, we had 3 cornerbacks go. And I think right here, we're going to see a run of about 4 or 5 offensive linemen. So obviously, once Amarius Mims go, the Rams are going to go, crap, let's grab our tackle before someone else does. J.C. Latham. The Steelers are going to go, crap, let's grab our offensive lineman before the Dolphins or the Eagles do. Because the Eagles need a center, the Dolphins need interior offensive lineman. Let's grab our guy before they do. And I think for the Steelers, I think Graham Barton is going to be that guy. He's probably going to be moving inside to guard or center in the NFL. I don't think he has the size or the ability to stick it out at tackle for long term. But I think the Steelers, what they need to do is just draft guys, get 5 offensive linemen. Just get 5. Doesn't matter who it is. Just get 5 offensive linemen. Whoever the best 5 are, that's my starting offensive line. We'll figure it out later. Graham Barton can play center or guard, and in a pinch can play tackle. But we saw at Duke his limitations at tackle. He's only 6'5", 314, shorter arms. Makes sense to move him inside. But I think he can actually succeed at guard more than center. Usually people are marking him at center. I'm going to say at guard. You know, I don't know if he has the pure power to stop D tackles. Because obviously as a center, you're going up against, you know, these 6'6", 325 pounds interior defensive linemen. I don't know if Graham Barton can hold his own against them. But I think he can hold his own against like 3 techs or 5 techs or pass rushers trying to make swim moves inside. That I believe he can stand up to. So Graham Barton at guard is the plan. The Dolphins then go, okay, well, if there's going to be a run of offensive linemen, let's just grab the best remaining offensive lineman in Jackson Powers-Johnson. And I think that not only are they going to grab JPJ, they're going to make the Eagles not draft JPJ, right? Because obviously the Eagles just lost Jason Kelce to retirement this offseason. Powers-Johnson is the best center in this class, head and shoulders above. Wouldn't even make him, it's no doubt in my mind that he's going to go in the first round. We saw what Tyler Linderbaum and Creed Humphrey can do to an offensive line. Both the Chiefs and the Ravens, the minute they drafted Tyler Linderbaum and Creed Humphrey, their offensive line grades jumped like 5 or 6 overall, all offensive linemen. Once you have a dominant center, your guards become dominant. Once you have dominant guards, your tackles become dominant, right? It raises the floor of your offensive line to have a dominant center. And I think JPJ can do that for the Dolphins, especially because they just lost Connor Williams, Robert Hunt. Like, they lost their their 2 best interior offensive linemen. They lost them both in one offseason. I think grabbing JPJ, let's just re-solidify this offensive line, re-solidify our run game with Devon Achane, I can't say his name, and Mostert, right? Robert Mostert. Let's just re-solidify it, grab JPJ, solidify that for the future. The Eagles then are going to go, crap, we would have really liked to have JPJ. That would have been our draft pick, but you forced our hands. We're going to go Nate Wiggins. The reason I go Nate Wiggins instead of Cooper DeJean, right? I think Nate Wiggins, one, fits their scheme of, you know, we watch Darius Slay, we watch James Bradbury. I think Nate Wiggins fits that type of mold of cornerback. They also have Isaiah Rodgers. They signed him last year after he got suspended, and they said we're gonna sit on him, right? We're gonna wait for him to be unsuspended. He's unsuspended now. He can resume football activities. Nate Wiggins can be the future cornerback number 1 for the team. He can sit, learn the scheme, get ready to play, and next year can start from day 1. I don't think he's gonna beat out James Bradbury. I don't think he's gonna beat out Darius Slay. And I don't think he beats out Isaiah Rodgers. Nate Wiggins, you sit him for a year, let him learn the system, learn the NFL, get his body ready, and next year can really try to be that true impact number 1 corner that they're drafting this year. Because when you're a really good team that's trying to win a Super Bowl, if you're drafting for needs this year, right? Like, that's not good. You want to be drafting for needs next year, right? You want to be like, okay, let's prepare ourselves that once these veterans retire, once these veterans, we have to let them go because of their age and their money, we have young guys to take up that mantle. I think that's what Nate Wiggins is going to do for the Eagles. The Chargers. So obviously, earlier I traded out of number 5, went to number 11, got Brock Bowers. This is why I think they grab wide receiver. I think Brian Thomas Jr., this is a good area for him, right? One of the best deep threats in college football. Had 1,100 yards, 17 touchdowns, averaged 17 yards per reception. Just a really good player. He's 6'4", 205, amazing deep threat. He's everything that you want a true wide receiver 2 to be, right? I think you still want Quentin Johnson to be that wide receiver 1 this year. I think Brian Thomas Jr., opens up the field even more because Quentin Johnson wasn't known to be a deep threat. He was more of that possession type of receiver, kind of like Keenan Allen. I think Brian Thomas Jr. can be your Mike Williams, right? A big body who runs fast, can be a really good 50-50 ball guy, but also has a really good route tree as well. Brian Thomas Jr. going to the Chargers. That makes a lot of sense, right? Then you leave the first round, revamping your wide receiver core. You got Brock Bowers at tight end. You grab Brian Thomas Jr. at wide receiver. Justin Herbert's happy, right? I think he's happy leaving the first round with those two receiving threats. The Cowboys. Man, there's a lot that they could do. I think they go Cooper DeJean, though. This is the team I think goes Cooper DeJean. Whether it's outside corner, slot corner, or safety, I think Cooper DeJean starts day one for the Cowboys. For other teams, I don't know if that's true, right? Whether it's because of its size, whether it's because of his athletic ability. I mean, he is 6'1", 207, but I don't know. I think for the Cowboys, they'd find a way to use him. We saw with Keanu Neal that they were able to find a way for him to start at sub linebacker. I think the Cowboys are just a team that tries to make the most of their talent on defense. We see it with Micah Parsons. He's all over the field. We saw with Keanu Neal. They moved him from safety to linebacker. I think for the Cowboys, whether it's outside corner, slot corner, or safety, Cooper DeJean will be on the field at all times and in different packages doing different things. I think that's exactly what they would do. I think that's what Cooper DeJean needs to do. I don't think he really needs to stick at one position for his entire career. I want to see him move around per snap, and we've been seeing it with Micah Parsons. They've been doing it. I think they could do it with Cooper DeJean as well. Now, the Packers are interesting. They have a lot of holes, but I am going to go Tyron Nubin. I think he's my number one safety. He's the only first-round safety in my mind. That makes a lot of sense. And the Packers, they let Darnell Savage walk. They let Jonathan Owens walk, I believe is his name. They don't have a safety. Tyron Nubin, day one, is their starting free safety who can also play strong safety. But for me, he has the speed, he has the tackle ability, he has the range of tackle as well, how he can contort his body to get the tackles and make him hit the ground. I think he has the speed, the ball hawking ability. He's my day one free safety. Boom. That's solved, right? That's how I would think of it if I'm the Packers. The Buccaneers are interesting. I'm going to go edge rusher. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka last season finally started producing. Shaq Barrett got hurt. I think you need another edge rusher. I'm going to go Laiatu Latu. When healthy, Latu is probably one of the best edge rushers in the class. But honestly, had the medically, I don't really want to keep going over this. Had the medically retire, got cleared to resume football opportunities, goes to UCLA, has a great season. But still, that health is going to bring him down. We saw Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was a for sure first round type of guy, top 15 or 20 pick, and he had heart murmurs before the draft. Falls to the second round. Guys fall because of injury risk. I think Laiatu Latu is going to fall a little bit. I don't think he's going to be falling out of the first round, but I think Laiatu Latu will fall in the first round, and I wouldn't be shocked if the Buccaneers swoop him up, and he turns out to be one of the best pass rushers in the class, and in a redraft goes top 15, top 20. Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals, and this is going to be my final trade in the first round. I think the team that trades up at number 27 is going to be the New Orleans Saints. I say this because the Cardinals, they're a rebuilding team, right? They need as many draft picks as they can to get as many guys on the team as they can and figure out who's good. I think that the New Orleans Saints would trade 45, 170, 190, 199, and a future fifth for 27 and 162. So they move up 8 picks in the fourth rounds. They give up 2 fifth rounders this year, a 5th round next year, a 4th round that was a comp pick, but they move up for 8 picks overall, so it's a swap. They give up 3 fifths to move up into the first round and get a 5th round. They get a 5th year option. Makes too much sense in my opinion for both sides. The Cardinals get more draft picks, so that's more bodies into the rooms that they get. And the Saints get to move up in the compensatory rounds of round 4, and they get to move up into the first round. I think this is where they grab a quarterback. It's Michael Penix, right? I don't think Michael Penix is a first-round quarterback, but I think the Saints are in a unique opportunity to grab a quarterback and let him sit behind Derek Carr. And they didn't really have to give up anything for it. Those are all compensatory picks. Everything they gave up was a compensatory pick. So it was picks that guys left the team that they got back because guys left the team. You move up into the first round, get a 5th year option on Michael Penix. You know how Michael Penix through his prime. He's 24 years old. You get him until he's 29. Through his entire prime, you get a quarterback on a rookie deal. That's exactly what you want as a New Orleans Saints. You can build a team around Michael Penix. You know, when he's 26, 2 years from now, that's crazy. 2 years from now, when he's 26, you have a quarterback in his prime. You have a team that you can then build around him for the next 2 or 3 years. When he hits his prime, he's still on his rookie contract. Boom, try and win the NFC South. To me, that makes a lot of sense. You let him sit for a year or two behind Derek Carr. You try and win with Derek Carr on the team. But once Derek Carr's contract is gone, all that money can be used to try and improve the team around Michael Penix. I'm going to do that. Again, don't think he's a first-round draft pick, but I think that the Saints are in a unique position to take Michael Penix and take a quarterback at all in the first round. Then the Buffalo Bills, I'm just going to go wide receiver. I'm going to go Adonai Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell, there's a lot of rumors about his personality coming out before the draft. Happens every year. Don't believe any of it. I'm being serious. Don't believe any of it. Adonai Mitchell's a really good wide receiver. Him and Xavier Worthy, I wouldn't be shocked if they both hear their names on Thursday. In the night 1 of the NFL draft. Wouldn't be shocked. But to me, I think there's only one of them that are true first-round talent. Adonai Mitchell has a really good route tree, has really good hands. Maybe he's not a wide receiver 1 in the NFL, but I think wide receiver 2 for sure can be a wide receiver 2. But give him a chance, year 1, to get significant minutes, significant snaps, and see what he can become. Because if he gets, let's say, 900 yards and 6 touchdowns in his rookie year, you're very happy about that, right? Like, it's a number 28 overall, really good wide receiver, really good prospect, good size, good frame, good catchability, and he has almost 1,000 yards as a rookie. We'll take that. Like, we'll happily take that. We get him for 5 years. And we can, yet again next year, spend another first on a wide receiver. The reason I'm not going, like, trading up for a wide receiver, you have Dalton Kincaid, who you drafted last year in the first round. You have Dawson Knox. That's 2 receiving tight ends. You have Adonai Mitchell. You have Khalil Shakir. You signed Curtis Samuel. I think that the Bills might do what the Chiefs are doing, where instead of paying a number 1 wide receiver $25 million a year, you have a bunch of really solid wide receivers and a bunch of solid tight ends. And Josh Allen make magic happen. They might be trying to do that. So that's why I'm not trading up for a wide receiver. I'm grabbing a guy that has a lot of upside, and you have really good tight ends. You now have a really solid wide receiver core. Let's see what happens. Next, we have the Detroit Lions. I'm going to go Christian Haynes for the Detroit Lions. I think the Lions with Brad Holmes, they don't care about value. They care about getting the guys that they want when they want them. We saw it last year. They grabbed Jahmyr Gibbs really early. They grabbed Jack Campbell really early. Those are both guys that were probably 10, 15 picks too early. They both hit. Christian Haynes, probably 10, 15 picks too early. Don't care. You get a 5th-round option on him. I mean, a 5th-year option on him. He starts for you day 1. Boom. Your offensive line issue is now solved. They let Halapoulivaati Vaitai walk. They let Jonah Jackson walk. I think Christian Haynes comes in, starts for you day 1. The Ravens, I'm going to go wide receiver. Obviously, they just extended Rashad Bateman through the 2026 season. I'm grabbing Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin, Zay Flowers, and Rashad Bateman. That's a pretty solid wide receiver core. They all do something a little different, but they're all pretty similar as well. Rashad Bateman can be your, spread the field a little bit. Zay Flowers, your, short to intermediate game possession receiver, and Troy Franklin can do them both. I think Troy Franklin has the opportunity to be a true wide receiver 1 in the NFL. Great deep threat, great possession guy, runs a really crisp route tree. I think Troy Franklin could be a really good wide receiver. I think the Ravens get a steal in Troy Franklin at 30. Then at 31, I think the 49ers grab a steal as well. They grab Jer'Zhan Newton, Jimmy Newton from Illinois. Really good pass rusher, solid run defender. We see what they're trying to do with all the veteran D tackle that they signed last year through a 4-year deal. Javon Hargrave. Javon Hargrave is a really good pass rusher, solid run defender. I think Jer'Zhan Newton can eventually take over for Javon Hargrave. Save yourself some money. Keep improving that defensive line. That's where you make the magic happen. We've seen it for 4 or 5 years now, that if that defensive line is playing really well, their defense plays well. They have Diamador Lenore. They have Travarius Ward. They have Talanoa Hufanga. They have Jimmy Ward. Like, they have a bunch of guys in the secondary that make it work. You have really good linebackers. You have a really good defensive line and a secondary that's solid. You make the defense work. Jer'Zhan Newton continues that defensive line dominance in San Francisco. Man, the Chiefs. I'm not going to grab a wide receiver. I'm not going to do it. I don't think any of these guys, except for Keon Coleman, Tez Walker, Malik Washington, Taj Washington, obviously. None of these guys are first round for me. I'm going to go I'm going to Tyler Guyton. I think that's intriguing. We see that the Chiefs have taken offensive linemen who are raw. I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I mean, Tyler Guyton is 6'7", 340, mountain of a man, really athletic as well for his size. I think the Chiefs are a type of team that take that risk on Tyler Guyton. And if it works out, he's a truly dominant right tackle that you got for basically great value. The last pick in the first round, you get a 5th-year option on him, really young as well. Yeah, I think Tyler Guyton to the Chiefs makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I really like this. I'm not gonna lie, I really like this draft. Right? I mean, you get a trade back. I mean, the Patriots go Marvin Harrison first at number 3. The Chargers trade back. The Vikings trade up for Jaden Daniels. The Patriots trade back up in the number 9, grab JJ McCarthy. The Chargers then take Brock Bowers and Brian Thomas Jr. You get another trade up at number 27. The Saints trade up for Michael Penix Jr. I like this draft. You have a run of offensive linemen right here. You got a run of corner. A lot of offensive linemen, man. There's so many offensive linemen in this class that I like. Lots of corners. Pretty good amount of wide receivers. You get 4 quarterbacks taken as well. 4 of them. Oh, you get 5 then, right? 1, 2, 3. 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round. 4 of them in the top 9. Yeah, I really like this mock draft. I think it's pretty realistic as well. You get 3 trades that don't involve any players. I was trying to involve players maybe, but I decided to do draft picks. You get 3 trades that highly impact each team. All 3 of them involve a quarterback drafted. Yeah, I like this, man. I wonder how accurate it's going to be next year. I mean, how accurate it's going to be for tomorrow. I might save this mock draft. Yeah, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to save this mock draft and see what happens tomorrow. But if you guys enjoy, please be like, comment, subscribe. Hit notification to be notified when I post next. Again, tomorrow at 6 p.m., the 25th of April at 6 p.m., I'll be going live on this YouTube channel. We'll be going over, reacting to the NFL draft. I'm very excited. If you guys are excited too, please come stop by, say hello. I'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.